Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we actually have some very intriguing internals going on when it comes to Sony and the PlayStation 5, when it comes to how much money they actually have, what they're willing to go and spend, how they've allocated, and overall maybe kind of like a little fun topic for everyone up in the community itself in the comment section down below to kind of go and guess maybe which will be the next major acquisition. Now, we have covered a lot of this big acquisition talk. We've even had a little bit of like Microsoft talk, Sony talk, and all of that. And this kind of actually has been like the really big major 2020 vibe, where just pretty much every major game company is just throwing out as much money as they possibly can, and all they want to do is be like, hey, spend some money, buy some games, get some acquisitions, and make our overall gaming brand just a little bit bigger. Now, I'm never against that. I actually always like the idea of these kind of really big companies expanding and moving on and kind of going from there. But the one biggest struggle I would say is you kind of have to go and have a certain budget, and at least on the bright side for this, Sony's budget's absolutely massive. So if you guys want to give your thoughts and speculations, I know I've given you guys a few of them myself down below. Feel free to, because Sony, $10 billion could lead to a lot of big buys. As well, if any of you guys are brand new, make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on, as well for the brand new PlayStation 5 giveaway with the Samsung SSDs down below. We got currently on sale. Highly recommend to go check it out. Keep on always mention up on my videos. Same thing too as well with the Samsung $50 gift cards too as well, which we actually have a little bit of a giveaway. I'll maybe make a community post on, so be on the lookout for that. Amazon links for the PS5 Digital Console Controller, Twitter and Twitch stream as well, link down below. Sign up for Weeble, deposit $100, get a bunch of free stock in that free money, and let's go and dive in the video itself. So as I mentioned, we actually have a huge amount of acquisitions going on still in the background for this. Mainly when it comes to Sony, when it comes to Microsoft, and even some of the other bigger game companies out there, acquisitions are just kind of the day to life. But for this, we actually have an article over here kind of discussing this, where we've been seeing these rumors and kind of the expectations on these numbers, that Sony has $10 billion left to go and spend on acquisitions all throughout the rest of 2023. Sony's latest financials confirm it has roughly, as of right now, this huge Bungie $4 billion buy, has another $10 billion left for its total of $18 billion budget to spend on strategic buyouts. Now, of course, this could also be for other various things as well, so don't forget, like, Sony's a big corporation, but as you guys know, the PlayStation's a pretty big deal and has a lot of good content, so the fact that they have, well, a chance for it, it's always very nice to see. So for this, Sony currently still has around $10 billion throughout this fiscal year, so many months for us to be looking at stuff and waiting for stuff, etc. And this goes into future game acquisitions, future game companies, or even trying to go build and develop up some of their own. Although right now it has been the flavor of the year to just go and buy out a good company that you guys would think would actually make money. With buyouts too as well, and also share buybacks, which is just more on the stock side, where they're essentially just buying out stocks to make their stock price go up and reward like investors and themselves having faith for them in the long term of the company, that they'll probably make more money in 5-10 years from now. They'll sit on that stock because they know it'll be worth more money long term, which I'd probably agree with them this too as well. So as of right now, back in May 2021, Sony officially outlined its spending budget for its fourth mid-year plan, which stretches from the basically the fiscal year from 21 to fiscal 23, so basically until March 2024. So that kind of gives us another 2-year period, 2 year and like a month period of how they might want to go and spend that $10 billion, which, if any of you guys would agree, it'd be very nice just to have a good rough idea of how I could even spend $10, nowadays for dinner. So the company's board of directors has actually authorized a 2 trillion yen budget, roughly $17.4 billion, for strategic investments, acquisitions, and buyouts, as we mentioned, in share repurchases. So Sony now has revealed that it has already spent 850 billion yen, or roughly 7.4 billion, of its allocated budget, leaving about $10 billion left for further purchases, which is still really good. So we can also get to see that too as well, because you just saw the Sony buyout as well. So Sony's current bill includes a substantial 3.6 billion buyout of Bungie, as well as billions in share buybacks. So overall, this is like potential. This is all future potential. And you guys can even see through some of these charts over here too as well, where you can see that they have all their strategic investment, capital expenditures, and dividends too as well. So we still have a lot more thing to go over. We have a lot more stuff. We have a lot more potential and a lot more money they could actually be spending out throughout these next few months and next few years. Basically, Sony themselves have been balling, and they can still be balling. Now, of course, this is kind of failing in comparison to the $70 billion. But I'm sure you guys would agree, most gaming companies that are even worth a few billion in general, that's like some pretty big stuff. That's like some big games. So the bulk of Sony's spending was actually more so made on content IP, which follows the current feeding frenzy for games and franchises, and the lion's share was actually spent more on its games and network services segment, which would make sense too as well. As you guys know, the PlayStation makes up a really big part of Sony's overall income and revenue, so obviously you want to make the PlayStation as big as you possibly can, because the bigger it is, the better it is just overall. What's interesting is that the 7.4 billion investment total also includes deals that haven't been made public as of yet. So this also means, because if you guys remember us talking about this from Jim Ryan, we made a video on this one after those huge like news kind of came on out, is that he was saying that this is not it. This is not all. And I love it whenever big CEOs go and say that, because that's like at the end of the day, like what we're looking forward to. We want them to go basically be like, hey, this would be some good big stuff. We have a lot of good games coming. We have a lot of good content coming. We have a lot of good big IPs coming. We have a lot of good business decisions coming. We have a lot of IPs coming. And overall, that's money to my ears. It's like sometimes where Phil Spencer will kind of come on out and be like, yeah, we have this really huge project with Xbox coming out soon. Be on the lookout for it. So as we go and see this stuff, it makes me happy, because the better the content, the better the games, the better the IPs, the better the money being spent, typically means better content for all of us. So, as this is, the very intriguing thing is that there's literally $7.4 billion that has already been spent. The contracts are already signed, the contracts are already moving, so that means that as of right now, there's $7 billion worth of other various details that we may not know about. Now, I would probably assume, especially with all these other big acquisitions and everything, that there's probably going to be some good stuff. We're probably going to be seeing some good games and good movement going on, because at the end of the day, why wouldn't you? Like, if you're Sony, you want to build your brand. If you're Sony, you want to go make sure that the Xbox is not getting a big step up, and getting Call of Duty and stuff is kind of, in all honesty, a pretty big step up. So this kind of includes $7.4 billion. So if you guys want to leave a comment down below, as I mentioned at the start of the video, there is 2 different segments now. So leave your comments and thoughts on what you think Sony has already bought, or they're in like the final contractual stages or final press stages for. And then the part 2 of that is, what do you guys think they're going to go buy in the future too as well? So we have a lot of stuff, because as I said, Jim Ryan says more acquisitions are coming. So this is why we're expecting more, or anticipating more, and I'm sure there's going to be even more, because if they have $10 billion to spend, and this is also, as you guys know, acquisitions take a very long time. It's not like it takes like a weekend and everyone's like, you know, playing golf and chilling. It's more of a fan of like, hey, it's like a 6-month plus long, maybe even a year-long process, because you have to go debate so much stuff. How much money a business has cost, how much, like, what the deal is for it, if it's full ownership, what's going to happen with their games and IPs afterwards, what if there's a game IP on the line, what if there's an Xbox deal. There is so much small stuff that kind of goes in these big things. You also have to make sure lawyers are okay with it, and the big government's not going to completely shut down your acquisition, which we keep on seeing drama with that with Microsoft. So all of this is kind of big stuff. So that's why they probably have not announced a lot of these really big acquisitions. So you guys could literally right now be playing a game that actually physically belongs to the PlayStation 5 or for Sony itself. And that's kind of neat to me. I love the idea of that. But it's also the same thing too as well for Microsoft, where Microsoft themselves could literally maybe bought 3 different IPs at this point. We just don't even fully know, because it's still in the final contractual navigations. So very intriguing to go look. As well as you guys also look for this stuff too, with the progress of the strategic investments. And that's kind of where we're having the idea where they're spending a lot of money on content IPs. That's a big one. Plus with pictures, music, because as you guys know, Sony as a company does a lot of stuff. They do like the movies, they do have TV shows, and we're seeing like The Last of Us and like, you know, Spider-Man, et cetera, et cetera. But the biggest thing is that this content IP, which would probably be more in terms of like buying businesses and buying brands, this is the huge stuff. This is what we like to see, because this just means more games, more game developments, more devs, and everything else floating on in. Now, of course, there is other stuff. They have to go get more employees. They have to go buy back shares to make sure the stockholders are happy. And there's other things you have to invest money into, like, you know, for Sony, even like, you know, movie IPs. That's big too, because what if you can go buy a really good movie IP for $1 billion, $2 billion, $5 billion, and you think you'll make that money more over the next 10 years or so. So kind of like to wind down this article for it. There's a lot of stuff in the way and the potential for Sony. There's a lot of good potential money to be made as well. And on top of that too, this is very exciting because, as we said and saw, Jim Ryan is working on more games. He is working on more deals, and he's more working on big acquisitions, and some of them might already be done. Now, once again, though, this Microsoft deal is huge. Like, this is literally 7 times what Sony has left for their acquisition budget, and it was more, I think, like 4 times total as of like everything. So you guys can kind of go and see the overall level of how big that acquisition was. But it does make me happy because Sony is still making very strategic, good IP and good studio buys that are basically not leaving us out for dry. So like I said, leave your thoughts and comments down below. I would love to see some more news either with like Capcom, Konami, even Ubisoft and EA, all those really big publishers, etc., or as well even Square Enix. So give me your thoughts and comments down below. Would love to go and hear them, and make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on as well for the brand new PlayStation 5 giveaway. Amazon links down below for the PS5 disc digital console controller, Twitter and Twitch stream as well, link down below, and sign up for that Weeble. Deposit $1, get a bunch of free stock and that free money. And same quick reminder for those Samsung SSDs that are on sale down below, and same with that $50 gift card for the secondary Samsung link. And leave your thoughts and comments down below, and I appreciate you guys all so much for watching.